now listening to the Good Bad Advice Podcast with Stephanie and Chase.
Hello. No, we got a Sabrina Carpenter it.
Hello. Honestly?
A new way?
Altos?
Bass. Welcome you guys to the Good Bad Advice Podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Chase.
And I'm Stephanie.
And we give unsolicited advice to people in the news every single week. And we hang out with all of our good baddies, which the numbers just keep on growing. Welcome to all of our new listeners, all of our old listeners, and our moms.
If you love this podcast, send it to your friends.
Yes, send away. We have a scheduling update. We have one more episode and for this season, and then we'll go on our little summer break, and then we'll be back refreshed, better than ever. We may have a new background. We may level up.
Dream big.
It'll be a new us. Wait, we should really think about what our cliffhanger will be. That, like, classic cliffhangers.
Really good gossip.
No, it needs to be. And then she was. We'll see you guys next week. Next year, blah, blah, blah. Like, because think of what would you say is the best TV show cliffhanger from a season, and I'll tell you why you're wrong unless you pick mine. Should I just tell you what the right answer is? Ross and Rachel, the wedding. I Ross, take the Emily,
take
the Rachel.
I saw.
And then boom, season finale. Like that is give me a better, if you're listening, give me a better season finale cliffhanger than the Friends wedding in London where Ross says Rachel.
So
I got to put that as a prompt.
We were on a family trip with Bailey, and she must have been like 8 or 9. And she had like watched some Friends with her mom. And we turn on Friends in the hotel room. And that's the episode that was on. And I was like, Bailey, have you seen this episode? And she goes, no. And I was like,
sit your butt down.
I'm like, okay, just prepare yourself. And she's like watching. And then he says, I take the Rachel. And she goes,
having kids appreciate pop culture that we appreciated, you've won. You've literally won the jackpot.
Yeah. And then it's like one of those moments where I'm like, don't quote the laws to me, which I was there when it was written.
Yeah.
Like, I saw that when it happened.
That was a in real time cliffhanger gasp that we experienced.
Yep.
It's so crazy to me that we've kind of done away with major cliffhangers because shows just never know if they're going to get picked back up. Yeah. And so it's almost like everyone's constantly needing to tighten up a bow.
Kind of like what Bridgerton was trying to do of the
little last set with Nicola. Yeah.
Yeah.
How art thou?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay, update us. Tell everybody about
Can I tell you the happiest thing that happened to me this weekend?
Yes.
I found the best Facebook Marketplace find of my life.
Wait. Why am I hearing about this for the first time now?
Because what happened was I found it on Friday.
What is it?
It is a yellow and white gingham chair. That is a chair and a half.
Like an upholstered
for my front
chair?
room.
Okay.
It is a custom chair. When I found it on Facebook Marketplace, I was like, I messaged them immediately, but I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it because Facebook Marketplace is, a hellscape. And I was like, okay, so I Google image searched this chair. I did everything to find this chair online because I was like, this is the chair that I've been looking for. Doesn't exist. So then the guy who's obviously the husband who's like, I don't freaking care about this chair, who posted it, is like, please message my wife, because I was just texting him like, blah blah blah, what size is it?
Trying to get them to and my name's Stephanie Dura, and I've just always loved gingham. In fact, when I was a little girl, I had a little gingham dress, and I trying to get
chair.
you
it like the shirt,
like
yellow and white gingham chair. It's perfect. And I'm like, start texting the wife. I'm like, I love this chair so much. She's like, my family loves this chair. We're so sad to part with it. It was like this whole emotional ordeal. At first, they listed it for $50. Then she messaged me and was like, my husband's an idiot. I actually said to list it for $150. He didn't do it correctly, but if you still want the chair, I'm happy. And I was like, she could have said $300 and I would still want this chair.
Okay.
And then we got it it was Saturday when I found it. So Sunday we got it midday. And it was a custom build chair chair and a half. I don't know who they did it through, but it's huge. And I'm like, this had to have been a $3,000 chair that this like beautiful woman in Draper, who was so nice, was just like, oh, we're just like changing the style of the room. And I'm like, thank you so much for giving it to me for $150 because it's a nice chair. And then I spent the rest of Sunday cleaning it because I was like, this has never been cleaned in its life. The water on my little green machine
was like...
My green machine was fighting for its life.
Your green machine was taking a smoke break.
Exactly.
We're going to get overtime.
But I'm now obsessed with like, I am like, it's just sitting in my front room. I haven't sent you pictures because what I originally had decided was going to be like my front room layout has now completely changed because it has to be around this entire chair.
I love that so much.
So that was my weekend. Also, I did discuss with somebody, speaking of a smoke break, how did we evolve to like the vape from this, which looks so much cooler?
You think like cigarette smoking is a cooler hold than a vape hold? Yeah.
Because they hold it like this. Like they hold it like a kazoo.
My fingers smell like those Pura scents that I was just smelling. And I was like, what is that?
Oh, no, like this is so much cooler. Like to hold it like this versus
actually,
like...
you're totally right. The vape
it's a party kazoo. It's like...
Yeah, it also feels like... Isn't that how you smoke cigarettes in prison? Because you're trying to like hide the cigarette. So you're like kind of covering it.
It's so weird.
Yeah. What an odd conversation to be having with somebody. Like
I outside of lunch and
someone just like, you know what I really don't love? How not cool vaping
No,
looks.
Somebody was talking about nicotine or something like that, and we were talking about drugs.
It is crazy to me when I see people still smoking. Like we also
smoking,
understand vaping.
I actually totally understand because of how addictive it is. Like, I think we openly judge people who smoke these days. I do. But vaping, I actually don't understand.
Oh, I don't understand all of it, but I actually do agree with you that there's a cool, if you're going to do it, be cool.
Yeah. And this.
And like also
cool.
Like straight up like a 90s chic. Like if you're going to do it, like it has to be a full vibe. Like I don't love it if you don't match.
The other day, I was walking around Savers with a toothpick in my mouth, and I FaceTimed Traven.
Were you in West Valley?
No, it's just a Draper.
The Draper sales.
The Draper Savers. It actually has great stuff.
That was just going to say,
Draper
that's
people,
like a Nordstrom rack.
No, I found a Home Goods vase there this weekend that was like this big, navy, chinoiserie, like huge vase. I'll send you a picture of it. $9. Still had the Home Goods tag for $54. I was like, you're coming home with me.
Which was on sale from $138.
Yeah.
So you've really paid a fraction.
No, I was like, this is better than Home Goods. I mean, you do have to I was in there for an hour.
Can you want my Home Goods story from yesterday?
Yes, please.
I find this 20 by 20 pillow that I think is going to be excellent in our basement. It's a high-end pillow. You know, you can tell because like when a Home Goods pillow is $40, it's a very high-end down.
Even like a $25 pillow.
That's what I'm saying. But when you're paying $39.99
at Home Goods,
it's a nice pillow.
It's a 4-hand.
So I find one and I'm like, oh, I want to get 2 more of these for my downstairs couch. So I do multiple Home Goods. I ended up calling every single Home Goods in the valley to see if they had it, and I'm sending them on their hunt for it. And major shout out to the people in, I think it's the West Valley. The one that's like on 5600 South and like Redwood or something. One? Maybe it's Taylorsville. Okay. Anyway,
that's a good one.
This girl was so cool. She was like, all right, here's the thing. I did not find that pillow, but are you sold on that color palette? Because I have a couple of dope pillows that are kind of more in a sand rust color. Like,
yeah.
She was like online. She was like shopping with me. And I was like, oh, sorry, I'm thinking for blues. But I spent, 20 minutes on the phone waiting on all the different stores.
Yeah.
And I went to 3 different Home Goods looking to see if I could find matches, and I couldn't. Then I get home, and I realized that the pillow clashes with the rug and what I already have. So I was like, mother F, I wasted all this time. So
did you know that's like a Molly original recipe back in the day? If she found
time?
Like pillow...
I was like, wow, shots fired.
No, completely the opposite.
Yeah.
No, if she found like pillows that she liked or like a palette that was at TJ Maxx that she liked, she would go to every TJ Maxx and Home Goods in the valley, and then Kevin would have like a work trip to St. George, and she would go with him to St. George and go to that Home Goods. Like, she would go to 6 Home Goods in the course of 2 weeks to find her pillows, and she did.
Yeah.
Because she's a boss.
No, I almost wrote her because Molly, now we have a group thread. Stephanie, Molly, and I have a thread called Spending Police, where right now you've not really asked for anything. You should have put that marketplace on there because we would have dialogue.
I thought so I called Molly, who's about to get on a plane, and I was like, I really love this chair. It's yellow and white gingham, but it's a chair and a half, so it's big. And she was like, yellow and white gingham? Buy the chair. And I was like, I don't know what to do because you just told me to get this chair and I thought you were going to tell me no. She was like, no, get it. I was like, okay, I have to get the chair now. So
you should have put that on the thread because I've now, when I'm buying something that I think may be superfluous, I take a picture of either the receipt or the item. But so I wanted to get this electric scooter and I thought that that'd be really great for the neighborhood. And then Molly was like, nope, all I hear is accident and then hospital bills. But then your dad wrote me separately and said,
like, get it.
We can find it on a charity auction
Kevin
site. So
loves an auction
site. He loves an auction site, but he also loves, I think, going around Molly.
That's why I've seen Beyonce twice.
No, I think he loves going around Molly. So
yeah,
he says, don't
that's
get it.
true.
He says, I have a different plan.
Yeah, there's the devil and the angel on my shoulder.
Fully. Okay, I had a super busy weekend.
Okay.
Because Saturday, Gentry had their golden ticket concert at Todd and Eileen's house, which when I use the word house, I'm not really... Like, I have a house. You have a house.
Todd and Eileen's custom gorgeous build estate, not
overlooking,
plantation.
Yeah,
those
in
are
Alpine, like on acres overlooking the entire valley. It was an insane... I'll post Was there
a house in Parade of Homes?
It should have been if it wasn't. But it's so fancy. They have like an entire 2-glass cabinet full of Yadros.
They're kind of one of those houses where you're like, please invite me over for the 4th of July.
Yeah, no, for sure. We are going over there, I don't think this week, but maybe next week. Not this week, the week after. For a secret Hitler night.
Fun.
There, which we've done before a couple of times. A board game, not our, we're not joining a cult. But it was super, super fun. I'll post, Gentry did like a little synopsis video, so I'll see if I can download that and share it. It's so complicated how to figure this out. Anyway, really, really fun. And I got to hang out with Baking with Blondie. Mandy was there. She did the desserts. I sent you a picture.
I know. I was like,
Stephanie's FOMO was real. And Mandy, if you're listening, because I know you are, you have to go into my DM messages on my personal Instagram to you because you haven't been responding to those. And I didn't want to send it to you from good, bad advice because I didn't want to tee up. I didn't want to put Stephanie on blast for what Stephanie said, but I did send her the screenshot of your responses to me sending you the picture of us together.
No, I was so jealous.
The other thing too is that like Steven is not a super sociable guy. Like he's not a very social guy. He'll be sociable.
He's not an extrovert.
But he doesn't like love it. It doesn't like feed his soul. And he's kind of like, oh no, I have like my people, like he's friendly, but he's not like constantly jonesing for more friends. But we were talking with Derek and Julia there, and we were just being so funny. I kept calling the house Todd's Rammy-Yum-Tum, and I was like, well, sorry, I wasn't building a Rammy-Yum-Tum. I just live like in a sensible house in Daybreak. And Derek and Julia are their friends, but not nearly as wealthy. Clearly, nobody is.
Yeah, no.
But
we're in the 1%.
We're
right
in
now.
the 1%. And so, but they were being so funny, and we were talking with Mandy, and we left, and Steve and I were talking on the phone driving home. And he was like, honestly, I could hang out with Baking with Blondie, Derek and Julia, like all the time. Like Mandy has just such
I don't even know if Steven would say that with me.
Probably not.
Because you and I together
that's your thing. No, she was just so funny. She also requested, I'll tell you offline. Remind me to tell you what she's requested.
Okay.
I'll just text it to you. I'm just going to write it here
down. Okay.
so I don't forget. Because I think we did this last time when I was listening back to the episode, and then I just never told you, and then I forgot to call you.
No, the hot goss happens after the
hot goss happens, but
off.
we think it turns off, but then we think the hot gossip happens, but then we panic and just like, oh shoot, we have to be in a thing.
Or we're like, oh, sorry, I have to run to work, and then it's like 5 hours later, I'll be like, wait, what was that thing you were going to tell me?
Okay, I'm writing it. That's what she wants. We're passing notes in class.
Ooh.
Which I think we could do.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun. Mandy, we've seen your request. We're taking it under advisement. And so anyways, she was really, really fun. The desserts, she knows how to make cupcakes that are just so light. Like even Steven ate a cupcake and he don't eat cupcakes. But he was like, that actually was really, really good. So Mandy, you crushed the cupcake game. It was really, really fun. I spent most of it upstairs because Leslie, one of the gents' wives, just had a baby. And so she was up there and I didn't want her to be by herself. So I got to hang out with her, which was really, really fun too. It was fun just to like kind of be above. But at one point I was rocking the baby and we were on the balcony watching the show and the people down, the commoners were down there looking up at us in our little balcony in the little room. And so I just like waved. And then I had this split second thought of like, what if I Michael Jacksoned this baby, like over the balcony, just like to all the people down there,
so
just
funny.
to like freak them out. And then the thought was so real in my brain, that I almost like giggled to myself. And then I would have to explain it to Leslie. Like, I wanted to use your baby for a bit. Like, I was willing to sacrifice your like postpartum like anxiety new mom.
Yeah.
And I was going to leverage that
Me to
be
dangle
like,
your baby over the balcony.
put him back. And that's when I was like, I should not be around children.
You're like, my kids are grown.
My kids are grown. Oh, they come tomorrow. I'm so pumped.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Wait, the other thing I have to update on is that we had Whitney and Cindy over for Cindy's birthday on Monday. And when you have friends that you're just, because, you love Whitney so much.
I do love Whitney so much.
But
Whitney, call me.
Yeah, no, don't. When friendship, jealousy, don't forget. Fine, Gabby, call me.
Okay.
No, you would not be. When you found out Becca and I had ran into each other at Nordstrom, we didn't run into each other. When you just had searched our locations like a creep.
I just think you and Gabby would get along really well.
Yeah, I know. That's why you keep her from me.
No, here's the thing.
And now that Becca and I we're basically neighbors. There's a little teeny bit of your anxiety
that's
that's
one
like,
time
don't
that
be
I looked up
friends.
Travens and like you guys were almost overlapping and I was like, they're so close together. No, you and Gabby would get along great. And I know that she has loyalty to me, so I'm not insecure,
Yeah, I am. No, I'm wildly. Every time we start, I'm like, how do I look? This is like, do I look okay? Do I look good on camera? I'm like, what's the look on there? She's like, you look like you.
You look
That's good or bad.
great.
It is what it is. And then last night I went to Sean Johnson's stand-up. He's part of Johnson. He's like one of the husband in Johnson Files.
Oh, yes.
So funny. I have got to say, like, here's the thing is, even if you're going to take, so his comedy, I loved his like stories about childhood. I also love someone that just guys that openly admit that they were into clogging and they didn't clock, that was like wrong or like weird,
Yeah.
It's so he's talking about like, I can't fight with you. Sorry. I can't tomorrow night. I have clogging after school. Like, he's like, as though it were football practice. Like, it's just like that sort of comedy I love.
Was it like their Instagram stuff or was it like their...
it was like totally different. It was like actually true stand-up with a little teeny bit of improv. Not a lot of crowd work. He pulled one person out of a crowd for like I think it was a pre-planned. I don't think she was pre-planned, but he's oh, you remind me of my ex-girlfriend. Sorry, Then he sings a song about her, the girl on the stage, with like a couple of things, but then it slowly just turns into a song about his ex-girlfriend. Sorry, I just keep looking at you. It reminds me of Emily. So like that sort of stuff was really entertaining, like really, really entertaining stuff. But the other thing is that even if you have kind of some common, what I imagine if you go to like a normal improv or a normal stand-up open mic night or something, you're going to hear a lot of the similar jokes about like forced tipping, like thing, whatever. But so he has a couple of those bits. Yeah. But then he like wrote music about it, or his take on it was like a little bit further. Yeah. Which is really good. But I think I'm pretty sold that my favorite type of comedy is comedy about people telling stories about their life. I don't want commentary about life in general. I don't want like transgender jokes a la Dave Chappelle or like style, or even like Jim Gaffigan about like, I mean, he has a little bit
His
more
are a
family
little
stuff,
more
but
storytelling.
But my favorite is like Heather McMahon, who's just like almost all story,
Yeah.
but she's just so funny.
Yeah.
That I just want to listen to them tell stories.
Yeah,
And that's where Sean.
That's like one of the things when
shined.
watching comedians in cars getting coffee. You realize like true comedians just realize how funny life is.
Yeah.
And they like theorize on that versus like making bits out of nothing.
Yes.
You should see, I think his name is Shane Smith. His like whole comedy is just telling hilarious stories. Also, I'm not one of these people that I'm like, exaggerate it, make it funnier. I don't care if it's not real.
Oh yeah, no,
like,
I don't care too. Sean had said like, I know that there's last night he'd even admitted like, hey, there's kind of an understanding in stand-up that you can exaggerate or embellish or like add like a funny little bit here that maybe wasn't totally real. And he was like, I'm not doing that on this. Like, this is actually real. My mom wanted to come to a fight I was doing and was like, come on boys, fight at school. Like, so funny. But I'm also okay if you exaggerate. Like for the
take
gag,
creative liberties.
like, I think it's kind of in similar vein with like this with us.
If somebody's like, was that real? You can be like, most of it.
Right.
Like,
it's
you
like
don't
based
have to
on a
lie,
true story,
but-
like stand up entertainment based on a true story. And I'm okay with that too. I'm not like, and also joke stealing to me. I know it's like a real problem of, lower, lesser known comedians having their jokes lifted by more famous ones. And I know Amy Schumer's been accused of that and Jenny Slate and whatever. But I also kind of think, I don't know, if it's a commentary about life, multiple people can have the same commentary or the same thought.
Yeah.
I don't totally subscribe to that. And that's maybe why I like personal stories better. If you had to tell, if you were given because I've thought about this, because they used to have like storytellers in Salt Lake, and it was like you could sign up and you basically tell a story, and it was like very big when I was newly divorced and looking for solace,
looking for things to do.
Literally looking for things to do. I'm like, storyteller night sounds great. Said nobody ever. You like show up and it's like a weird YSA activity.
Yeah.
You're like,
that's what it sounds like.
You like slowly sit down and everyone just acts like they're on their phones. Hi, Jasmine. Oh God, I hate her. Anyway. But if you had to tell a story, like a stand-up comedy personal story, you only get one story. What would be like the story that would slap? And while you're thinking, I'm going to tell mine. So you don't really have to listen to mine since I know your brain's going to be listening.
Got it.
When I was maybe 10, I killed my great-grandmother, or I thought I did.
Yeah.
Because I walked her out to the car on Christmas Eve, and we had a slanted driveway. And her name was Ganny, true.
Yeah.
And I was like really cute and little. And I was like, I'll walk you out, Ganny. Because I now know that like my 10-year-old voice should have been a sign.
Yeah.
Type and shadow of things to come. But I was like, I'll walk you out. And so I'm walking her out and I go to open the door for her. So I let go of her to open the door and she slipped and fell and just laid on her back on the driveway as it's snowing and snow is just piling on her face. And I looked down at her like absolutely non-responsive body. And I'm like, Kenny? Poker, Kenny? And then dead ass, she just shoots her eyes up and goes, go get the folks. And then closes her eyes. So I run inside and my grandmother, my dad's mom, Jane, is in the kitchen. I'm like, Ganny fell. I think she's dead. She's outside. And my gram goes, she's washing dishes. And she's like, what, honey? And I'm like, Ganny fell. She's outside. And she's like, oh, that's okay, honey. She falls all the time. Don't worry about it. Keeps just washing the dishes. Finishes, then towel dries her hands, uses her little apron, takes off her apron, folds it, puts it on the counter, and then says, Jess, let's go get your mom. And so then her mom, help Ganny, and then they walk outside and go get her.
She wanted her dad.
And so my thought is just that when I have thought about telling this on the true story, on the storytelling thing, I would say like, I have looks that could kill because I was such a cute little kid. And be like, and it did. It killed my grandma. That's like, that would be like my thing where I was like, oh, this is my hook. And I could tell that whole story about like how insane that whole experience was. I don't have anything else, but I think would be like my one story, and I could layer it about, like accidentally killing your grandma because you're just like, being so cute. That's my story. Do you have one like in the chamber?
Yeah, I feel like I'd probably tell the story about the time that I told everybody I had a tumor in my leg.
Oh, that's right.
I was getting leg pains, and I was in 7th grade, an extremely dramatic person.
Did you tell this on the pod?
I don't know if I have.
I don't know if you did or not, but if you guys have it, there's enough new listeners we know that this is like one of the greatest stories of all time.
So in 7th grade, my leg just started hurting randomly.
Which I want to just parenthetically point out, Stephanie is the youngest. Yeah. And in so many ways, Stephanie is the youngest.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
If there was a passenger princess for a family role, it's Stephanie. Like, you're the most like princess in your
princess peacemaker. Like,
yes, I give you that. That's the better of two. But you're like, Daddy, like that would be like it would be like
not
Julia
my fault
Fox
that I'm the
being
most
like,
loved.
It's like, have you seen the Julia Fox video where she's calling her? She's like, Daddy, I just need $100,000, please, Daddy. That is Stephanie, and Kevin would give it.
Yeah.
Kevin would absolutely give it to Stephanie because you're a little bit of this princess. So keep going with that kind of
No, but here's the thing.
attitude.
I've always been a drama queen, and particularly a drama queen for the sake of a bit. Like, I think that has been in me forever.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Like this, you need to think that
like,
that
I
is
got in
a
trouble
part of
as
her.
a child, and they sent me to my room. I came out dressed in dress up and said, I think you have forgotten that I am a princess. Like, I've always been dramatic for a bit since I was 2 years old.
Like this, her dream is to have been in the Princess Diaries. Yes. For someone to actually come in one day and be like, I'm so sorry, you were actually the Princess of Genovia.
No.
And she would be like, that actually makes sense. That explains my personality.
One time the cops were at my house because the teenagers were in the basement and accidentally called 911 or purposely did. Cops show up to the house. My parents are not home. Cops show up. This makes me laugh. Because I do think I remember thinking that it would be funny to do this. My parents come home from a date night. I'm sitting on the couch watching a show, filing my nails. And they're like,
old?
Hi, how 6 or 7, filing my nails like this. And they go, hi, how was your night? And I go, the cops were here. I handled it. Like,
cops are here, Mom. Where were you? Sergeant Jones wants you to give him a call back if you can make time.
No.
I'm sure you'll be busy tomorrow. I'm sure you've got lots of laundry to do.
And I distinctly remember thinking, like, that would be so funny if they walked in. And I was just like, cops were here. Anyway.
She's wearing a Princess Belle costume that she's not taken off in 3 weeks. Her hair has a piece of gum in it that she refuses to let someone else take out. But she's there filing her nails, doing a bit.
So anyway, I've always been dramatic for the bit. In 7th grade, my leg started hurting. I thought it was
so funny.
I thought it was because of dance. Like, I thought I just had soreness from dancing. But it would, like, every time I went to bed, it would start hurting.
You did not think it was soreness from dancing. That's
no,
the logical explanation. You thought.
No, listen.
Say what
at
you
first,
thought it was.
No, at first I did think it was soreness because it was, like, randomly and it was on one side. I thought it, like, had injured myself. But then after, like, 3 months of the pain, I was like, no, my leg actually really hurts. And nobody believed me because during the day, the type of benign tumor that I had, it wouldn't, like, the white blood cells didn't attack it because I was moving. But when I would lay down, it would. And so it would hurt when I would lay down at night. So everybody thought I was faking. So
because, did they think that you were faking in part because you were just constantly filing your nails, doing bits? Mother, I don't know. The leg is sore again, Mom, if you could just see.
100%. So because I'm dramatic, I just started being like, my leg hurts. It's a tumor. And everybody was like, then we would quote Kindergarten Cop where he's like, it's not a tumor. But I was constantly telling people that it was a tumor because that was so funny to me. And then we went to my pediatrician and she's an alarmist, as your pediatrician should be. And she told my mom to go get me an MRI and a CAT scan. And she was like, are you insane?
Your mom is like, absolutely not.
They do get an MRI. They don't see anything. So they do a CT scan. And we're sitting there 2 weeks later after the CT scan. Guy pulls up my CT scan and he's like, so right here on her femur bone is a small benign tumor. It's called osteoid osteoma. And I was like, gagged.
Yeah.
I sat there just like, and my mom was like, so it's not actually a tumor though, right? It's not like a, and he goes, No, it's a small benign tumor growth that is on the back of her femur bone. And I was like, I am a god. It's called manifesting. Look it up.
You manifested your tumor?
Yeah, a benign one. If you're going to manifest, do it well.
It's a level of crazy, honey, that is so funny to me. And Molly was like driving home. Son of
First, she felt guilty, though. She had to feel guilty that she was like, she really has been saying her leg hurts this whole time, and I thought she was faking. And now it's a tumor.
But she also, to
And
Molly's
then
credit,
I was like, I told you I had a tumor.
That was coming. Yeah, I was gonna say, to Molly's credit, though, the reality is that she should have no reason to believe it was anything other than just being dramatic.
My pediatrician called and was like, how is Stephanie doing? Is she worried? And Mom was like, she's fine. She's fine. She said she knew it.
She's annoying as hell. But I don't think you can get me medication unless it's a sedative.
So that would be my story that I would tell.
Okay, wait. We have to do some 3GBs because are you really out of here at that time you told me? Because we are running out of time.
It's okay.
We have to go quick. We're going to go quick through the stories. We'll be fine. One, here's my 3GBs, okay? Yeah. My first two are only available on TikTok.
Okay.
The Karen Reed trial and the Young Thug trial.
I have no idea what these things are. I'm not on the same side of TikTok.
Stephanie Darrow, when I tell you the Karen Reed trial story is insane. Quick 10,000 foot view.
Okay. Cop,
dead.
Oh.
Massachusetts, small town. So, cop, dead.
Kappa.
Karen Reed, girlfriend, drops him off at a house. I'm not going to get all the names right. Drops him off at a house of other cops. Yeah. A retired cop to go with some other cops at like midnight.
Yeah.
It's snowing. She leaves, wakes up in the morning, 6 or whatever. Can't find him, goes back to the house. His body is found in the snowbank outside. Okay. She's arrested, suspicion of murder, for allegedly hitting him with her car. And then she hits him with his car and then drives off, leaves him in the snow to die.
Yeah.
Except killer or cover up by the police, because some facts that don't quite add up.
Oh.
One of the girls or girlfriends of the guys, one of the cops that was at the house, Google searches at 2 in the effing morning, how long does a body take to decompose in a snowstorm? The body was not found until 6:40, which means 4 hours prior. Someone in that house Googled how long until a body decomposes. Now, she claims I never searched that. She researches it at 6 something in the morning. And she says, oh, that's because Karen asked me to search that. Except the search had spelled it wrong. So in the search history, it showed 2. Even though she deleted that search history.
Yeah.
The FBI was able to pull it out of the phone to show, nope.
Guess what?
Nothing's actually gone.
Your data is there.
And so finds that 4 hours prior, she had Google searched that. And she says, I didn't do that. The phone company's wrong. 2, they claim, oh, well, she has a shattered taillight. That's where it shows that he hit. Except there's Ring camera footage of her leaving the house that morning that just shows a crack on her taillight. And the footage that the prosecution ends up submitting is inverted. So it looks like it's the passenger taillight. But the defense attorney points out, do you see that there? The police station numbers are backwards, because this video has been inverted to make it look like it was the passenger taillight when it wasn't. They broke the wrong taillight when they were setting her up. 3, if you find a body at a house, in the driveway of a house, you would, 1, secure the crime scene. They didn't do that. 2, you'd search the house where he was allegedly at. Never did that. 3, you'd interview the people at the party that the girlfriend says would be the last people to saw him alive, because that's where she took him to. Not a single person was interviewed.
Oh.
4, the lead investigator, Michael Proctor, was on the stand 2 days ago. This has now been like 6 weeks trial. 2 days ago, was on the stand, and he has to read in open court horrible text messages he'd sent to the other cops about Karen Reed saying, oh, no, we're going to nail her for this. We don't need to investigate anyone else. He's one of our own. But don't worry, I'm going through her phone looking for nudes. Oh, she's such a expletive. And he tries spelling it. And the objection, and the judge is like, those are your words, Mr. Proctor. You can read them exactly as you said them. So he's having to call her like the C word. Like, it's insane.
Whoa.
And this defense attorney, the hottest thing on TV right now. He's sensational. He's so good. So you have to look up Karen Reed TikTok. And there are so many people that are going through, or Karen Reed trial.
Yeah.
There are so many people that go through and say, day 23 summary. Here's the bombshells that came from today. So Karen Reed, I'm so hooked on it. When Whitney and Cindy were over, we were telling them, Whitney and I, because Whitney loves true crime, we were telling Cindy and Steven, we're going to create a podcast called Can You Believe It, Steven? Because Steven the whole time was just like, what? No, we're like, can you believe it, Steven? I said, that should be the name of the podcast, because he was like a great listener. But excellent thing.
Yeah.
Young Thug trial. Now, you know, he's got RICO charges stemming from involvement in like 2015 and then maybe 2020 with effectively like laundering money and doing gang-related things with his production company and then like some drugs and whatever else. He's on trial with 5 other people who are similarly indicted. Stephanie, the judge has an ex parte, meaning without the other lawyer, meeting with witnesses and a prosecutor and engages in witness intimidation. That there's a leak in the chamber or secret recording device in the chamber because the defense attorney for Young Thug outs it in open court. And the judge is like, where did you hear that? How did you get confidential information out of my chambers? And this ballsy defense attorney says, that's not the real question, Your Honor. The real question is, why were you having that meeting in the first place? And more importantly, why were you intimidating the witnesses ex parte? And he's like, you will tell it to me or I will hold you in contempt for 20 days in jail. He goes, then get the jail ready because I'm not going to out my source. You should out your source. You would know who did it because you were there, witness tampering. And I want all of this on the record. And so he says, that's it. 20 days. You'll start 20 days. Every weekend for the next 10 weekends, you will spend in jail. 20-day lockup in contempt. And there was this whole thing. And so he's like, fine. He takes his tie off. He takes his shoelaces off because he was going to jail. Yeah. It was what I say, like, my lawyer.
Sickening.
The house boots
slay
down.
The house. Your Honor, he slayed.
Your Honor, slay. Your Honor,
period.
Whoop, and I whoop. That is the.
There's never been a better phrase
Reed
for that.
And the Young Thug TikTok. You have got to promise me you at least do the Karen Reed.
No,
the Karen Reed. Also, Amanda, if you're listening, because I feel like this is right up Amanda's alley. Yeah. You have got. If any of you are following the Karen Reed trial. Yeah. You need to send me your thoughts. Send it just on social to us because I'm obsessed with the Karen Reed trial. And let me make it abundantly clear. Where's my camera? Just kidding. There's only one. Which is the camera to the audience. Okay. Where's my camera? Okay.
Is it this one?
We're going to use the only one in front of us? Okay, perfect. Your phone. Got it. When I want to be abundantly clear. Karen Reed is not guilty. And if the defense needs someone who is actually guilty, I am confident you're not going to see this coming. It was the dog. I think the German Shepherd intervened during a fight because there was dog marks. Get this. Oh, I didn't even tell you the craziest thing.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Guess where the dog is? Because there were bite marks on him. Guess where the dog is? We don't know. They rehomed him after this. Well, what happens when you end up searching the house? Oh, we don't know. They remodeled right afterward, took all the flooring out of the house, and then sold it. She's not guilty. It has to be the dog. And I think a fight happened. The dog got involved, and then he died, and they tried to dump the body and thought they could pin it on this girlfriend. That's what I'm saying. Take it to my grave. There's
here first. Bite marks on them. Like, what do you mean?
Oh, and there's not lacerations consistent. There was no, like, it's so
Lacerations
crazy.
consistent with a car accident.
Right. There was initially it was referenced that he got hit in the face with a martini glass. That's why there was damage to his face. Oh, the other thing too, get this. If you bag and tag clothes, part of crime scene, one, you're not using a red Solo cup. That's alarming. Two, you're not then putting it in your car and forgetting that it's there for not days, weeks.
Yeah.
It goes missing for weeks and then comes back and then suddenly has evidence on it, tying it back to Karen Reed. Oh, keep in mind, I don't know, we're going to have 19 calls between all the different cops involved in this that are like 13 seconds, 8 seconds, whatever else, from like 1 until 6 in the morning. And their excuse, their little message over and over again on the stand, we didn't butt dial. It was just a butt dial. We didn't talk. It was just a butt dial. The defense attorney says, like, you're an iPhone, right? Yeah. Okay, so that means your butt dial would have to register your face or your passcode. Mm-hmm. You'd have to go into the phone app. You'd have to actually select the contact and then call. And it's not just over and over again. You're calling multiple different people.
Yeah.
So it's not just like a call.
Yeah.
And where's the SIM cards? Oh, the day before the court issued their notice of not getting rid of any evidence, the day before, oh, I got a new phone. What would you do with the SIM card? I gave it to an ATF agent who ended up destroying it. So absolutely no way to get all of their data from all of their phones because they're all destroyed.
Like, they did it.
They did it. It's so guilty to me. It's the best thing
but
I am consuming. But
is it like her or like my understanding of law, if she's not guilty, are they then tried?
No,
because they're not.
So the defense has.
They just need to get away with it.
The defense needs to prove that there's reasonable doubt that she did not do it. Then it'll be an issue of whether or not they charge. But I don't know who they're going to pin it on.
Yeah, who
it
would
could have
they
been
charge?
either of the guys there. It could have been the dog.
Could have been a fight that broke out.
This idea of, but did she do it? Is there enough reasonable doubt? There's so much reasonable doubt. You could go swimming in the amount of reasonable doubt they poured into that pool. Like, it was nuts. So
but they just needed to create enough chaos so that.
But you got to watch. First off,
it.
The defense attorney is hot as hell. Just because it's not even like physically, it's just that he's like, that's not what you said, is it, Mr. Proctor? No, and like
Scary.
Just that like sort of the cojones, it makes me just like want to be like even more of a bad A as like a lawyer. Yesterday I was in court and I hate this one commissioner. Okay. I hate her with the passion of 1,000 suns.
Okay.
And it's none of my 3rd district queens because I love all of my 3rd district commissioners.
Yeah. But
this one, she says under her breath, she asked me like, and so what year did you submit the tax returns? And I said, what was the last year that they'd completed it? And she says under her breath, just tell me the year, just answer the question. And I said, excuse me? She's like, nothing. I said, it sounded like you were muttering under your breath. So I just want to make sure, did you need something from me? No, Mr. Walker, just carry on. And I said, okay, great. So then I start going, blah, blah, blah. Then she goes, I'm just asking the blah, blah, blah. And I said, Your Honor, I'm trying to finish my sentence, which answers your question, but you keep interrupting me. So if you could stop interrupting me, then I can give you the answer you're asking for. But I think because I'd watched the one lawyer that's like, I'm not giving up my source. Fine, I'm going to spend 20 days in jail for a young thug. His rates just tripled.
Yeah.
Because everybody's going to be like, I want that bad A as a lawyer. And then Karen Reed's lawyer, I just want to go shake his hand and just like watch him. Yeah. So I watch, those are my 2 favorite things I'm loving. And then we haven't talked about RuPaul's All-Star season. That's my 3rd.
I haven't watched it.
It's actually good because they do it a little differently this season. They're each playing for charities. And so the queens actually don't get any of the tips. And they have partnered with a charity and they're raising money for the charity.
I love that idea.
And that they got a budget. Rumors have it between like $25,000 or $75,000 each for outfits and for vibes. And that way, that's kind of like what the queens get. But I didn't think I was going to love it because it just felt kind of like, okay, they just want to hand this to Gottmik and whatever. But it's actually excellent TV, and they do really fun, different challenges. Mm-hmm. They've upped. This is a very, very, very good season of All Stars. That is streaming on Paramount
I
Plus.
haven't watched it the last few seasons because I have not had the correct streaming services to do so. But I always, when I see clips, I will always watch.
Well, you should come over and we can catch up on All Stars 9. This is pretty good. Okay, do you have some 3GBs or do we need to just get into the stories?
Let's just get into it. Mine are mainly books, so.
Okay.
Nobody cares.
We're going to go through a couple of stories quickly because we don't have a ton of time.
Yeah.
Because we might be cognizant of you having
Because we just were
job.
gabbing.
We're just like Gabby. Oh, speaking of Gabby, give me a call. Okay. Gene Simmons, frontman for Kiss, is a huge fan of Taylor Swift. He says, there's no question Taylor Swift has taken over and she's great. I'm a fan. I know her and she's a really solid person. Other than that, I'm not sure what's cool.
I love the relatability. I'm not sure what's cool.
Yeah, I don't know what's cool, but she knows
Swift,
me.
That Taylor Swift.
I love artists supporting other artists that you would not see coming. Like, that's what I think is really fun. It's kind of like when I saw...
It's like when Disturbed, they sing The Sound of Silence. They're very much like a screamo band. They mentioned Taylor Swift at their concert and people started booing and he was like, you put some respect on her name. Do not boo Taylor Swift. Like, he was like, shut up.
Yeah.
Like, it's things like that where you're like, would have never expected that from the Disturbed.
On the note of Taylor Swift, because so our advice is to other artists, just talk the artists up that you like.
Yeah.
I don't like when we get reports of, I don't know, she's not that big of a deal. I think the hype is, we don't need to naysay people's artistry. That's so stupid.
Yeah.
That's so 2000. We want to, not pit Christina and Britney against each other.
Let's not bring back rivalries. I'm not interested.
No, I'm not interested in that either. Let's just agreed. Those are
the
necessary.
only ones
But Kate Hudson has been being forced on us in the news. People magazine had like 13 stories on her.
Yeah.
Her publicist is working overtime. She's getting that coin.
Yeah, what
that
is
publicist
going on
must
in her
be
life
putting in
that
a renovation because she's working double time.
Yeah, but what is Kate Hudson hiding?
What is she hiding? I don't know. We should find that out.
Because it's like J-Lo has been calling the publicist
for
paparazzi.
a bunch of random stuff. Yeah. But then it drops that they've listed their houses, which means we're headed to divorce. But what I will say is, oh dang it, I lost my thought. Oh yeah, Kate Hudson's in the news, and she said her number one Taylor Swift song is "Out of the Woods," and
a good one.
That's actually my favorite Taylor Swift song as well.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
And I'm wondering what's your number one Taylor Swift song?
You
don't get. Oh, this is my favorite one from Red. No, just your number one song. That's
Death
it.
by a Thousand Cuts is probably my favorite song ever.
Really? Oh, okay, cool.
The piano in that song, is like if you took my brain out and put it in ice cold water and then put it back in. Like if I just got
so refreshing.
If I just got a rinse in ice cold water and you put it back in. Maybe even like my spine. If you just poured ice cold water down my spine as just like a relax, like just to get some inflammation out. That's what the piano in Death by a Thousand Cuts does to me. It's just like, can you take me out? Like, I swear, it is a holy experience for me.
The fact that you're singing Creed as though it's a holy experience is so funny. Also, Creed only has one song, right?
No, they have like albums.
Yeah, I'm aware, but name them. Name them.
You would know.
Name them.
Probably like 4 of their songs.
Name them. Name one. There's
Higher
Can You Take
by
Me
Creed.
Okay, next.
No, I actually do know a few of their songs because in middle school, a guy that I liked told me that Creed was his favorite band.
Oh my gosh, have you seen the trend on TikTok? That's like, I posted this because the person I like. No, it's like I posted this because the person I like said they liked Greatest Showman. And then it's like I sent this to my crush after I learned they liked Eminem. And it's like, lose yourself in your music, your moment. You never.
Bad.
It's so bad. It's so cringy. I love people that are willing to.
That was me with Creed.
Okay, wait. So
I've listened to their album pretty much like 8th and 9th grade because I was like there with my tumor.
I know one other song. I will say with arms wide open.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. With arms wide open.
But what's this one? One Last Breath. This is their highest played.
Oh,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We don't play it too long, so you don't want to get. Yep, you nailed it.
Now. I'm 6 feet from the edge, and I'm thinking. I think that's the one.
Yeah, I think that's right. But I want that to be a social cut, so just so I can watch it when I'm feeling sad. That
was on tune.
No, it was not.
It was.
I just love that people are being like, let's just be fans. And I am excited because I'm loving all of the new footage coming from her different shows. I'm still on Taylor Swift Talk.
The GTPD set is good.
And the I want to get Charlotte the shirt that says "The Woman Rage," the musical Woman's Rage. It's actually pretty cool.
I need a shirt that says "I cry a lot, but I am so productive."
And I want another shirt what's the one that's about going to the gym?
Because I'm down bad crying at the gym.
I've seen those.
I've seen a couple of those that are
like
cute.
really, really, really cool. Yeah. Okay. Speaking of other badass women, Nicola Coughlan, or
did you see this clip?
Coughlan?
Coughlan, I thought.
Coughlan, that's what I thought too. I just realized I may have said it bad. Yeah.
Did you see this clip?
The one that you're referencing?
Yeah.
Yes, in the article.
It's so funny.
Yeah, I think she's excellent.
She's hysterical.
Now, Entertainment Weekly reports that the Bridgerton star. Now, for those of you that don't know, Nicola Coughlan is Penelope, who is also spoiler alert, Lady Whistledown. Mm-hmm. So it's like, dearest gentle reader. Yeah. That is written by Penelope.
Julie Andrews also.
Who we love because she was kind of like the dark horse. That was a really great reveal in season 1.
Yeah.
And I want Lauren had said about season 1, the kind of the problem with Bridgerton season 1 about the scene, and I'd forgotten about that scene, which really stinks.
Which one?
Where she is being intimate with him, and he doesn't want to complete because of the and she forces it, and so that's kind of like a essay issue.
Yeah,
that is really, really, really upsetting. Particularly, and Lauren pointed it out, I think, beautifully in saying like,
no, when
there's
I read
a racial dynamic that's also in the portrayal. It's not in the book.
In the book, it's not.
But it's even worse in the book.
It's in the book. What I was kind of disturbed by, Bridgerton series was going to be one of my GBs. In the book, she like openly admits to not feeling guilty about it, because she wants to have a child, and she feels like so justified, and it's really icky in the book, and it's just as like icky in the show. And I feel like because we were all hyped about Bridgerton at that time, it was like, oh, it's all just sexy and it's fine, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, it was kind of like 50 Shades, where everybody's like, Are we really being okay with what's happening here? And it's like, kind of. I mean, I guess not when you point it out like that, but that's how I kind of
if you want to make it a big deal.
Right.
Like,
it's like,
and
it's
no,
a big
it's
deal.
like really and also not to mention in the book, he's like really drunk.
Oh,
and so it's like
worse.
even worse. When I was reading it in the book, I was like, ooh.
Yeah, I don't love, so it kind of is tainted for that for me, but she was like, the storytelling of her being Lady Whistledown, that reveal was everything.
Yeah.
Now, Nicola was at a fan event was Edinburgh, I thought I saw? Yeah, in Dublin. And she was asked, because she's been told that she was very brave for bearing her body in the hit series, because she's not a -0 Hollywood normal woman who everyone's like, I want to see her naked. Yeah. Her response is so fire. And if you have littles, maybe just put earphones in for this response.
Ear headphones.
She says, it's hard. I think it is hard because I think women with my body type, women with perfect breasts, we don't get to see ourselves on screen enough. I'm a very proud member of the perfect breast community. I hope you enjoy seeing them. There's a level of like absolute
iconic
queendom there.
Like, the best line ever. And you know what? I have appreciated in all of the press, it has not been about that. She has not. That is the only question she has answered about it.
Yeah.
And like, it has never been about her body type. It has never been. And when you read the books, she's even like, people are even more mean to her in the books than they are in the show. Like, Cressida is evil to her in the books.
Yeah. And
so I'm glad that they didn't make it about that, because she's talented and she's beautiful and it shouldn't be about that. So answering that question in this way.
Well, and I just think it's such a healthy way to broaden what we're accepting as like beautiful. Like we're expanding it from what we've traditionally treated it as through Hollywood's lens.
Yeah.
But I think the vast majority of at least America would say, actually, yeah, most of the time there's kind of like the insane like Hollywood, like the Blake Lively's or the Paris Hilton's or whatever. It's really beautiful, have very, very, very skinny. They have all the money and whatever else in the world. But the vast majority of people are not a size zero. They've had kids. They've got these beautiful bodies, and celebrating that, being like, hell yeah, I look good. Like she says, I was just finishing reading one of her interviews to see if it was the part you were talking about, where she talks about how she was, wants to look back when she's 80 and be like, I looked amazing. Yeah. Like that's amazing. And having that present thought for the future you is kind of true. Because if I were to go back and be like, oh, when I was in my 20s, that's really when I was, that's when I blanked. That's when I shined. That's when I whatever. And so I think it's super great for her. General advice, love the body you're in. Nobody's perfect, but find the stuff that you love and then
my advice,
screw the haters,
is to answer questions with the response that they deserve. Like if somebody asks a crazy question, go ahead and give them a crazy response. Like I think this is another way of being like, well, what do you mean by that? Is being like, oh, you're right. I am so brave because it's so hard having such a perfect chest. And like, that's really like my cross to bear in this. Like if you're going to say something crazy, then I'm going to garner a response.
Yeah, totally.
That is like matches your crazy.
Or it's not even that that's a crazy response. It's just like goes to highlight how insane the question was.
You hear that.
Did you feel really brave for putting my perfect tits on TV? No, I didn't. Like that's it's like the 1-to-1 where it's like, do you understand how insane you sound?
Yeah.
Like you've assumed something in the question that is not actually true. So I'm going to answer the truth and point out that your question's insane.
Yeah.
That's also just a masterclass. I don't know if that's PR training. I don't think it can be. Because it didn't feel forced. She's quick.
I want her to be on SNL.
I think she's really, she'd be a great SNL opener. Because when is the second part of Bridgerton? This
June
summer.
13th. It's literally tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay. Dang. But this season's already done. And she'll be out of relevancy by September when they come back.
I don't think so. She's so good.
No, I'm just saying they're going to be putting somebody in who's promoting a big movie. Like we know Ariana will be and Cynthia Erivo will be on SNL hosting for Wicked.
Yeah.
Which I watched that trailer again on Monday.
Oh,
I think I've watched it.
Good.
Of the 6 million views it has, I'm handedly like a tenth of those.
Yeah.
I just have it on. I love it so much. Anyway, okay, we have to focus. I shared this with you this morning. 1975's Matt Healy is engaged to model Gabriette Betchel. Lauren, fact check the name. Here's what I have to say about this.
The smallest man who's ever lived is engaged.
Ooh. I think
that song slaps.
Oh, 100%. Her new album, the more and more I listen to it, the more I'm like,
The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived. I told Traven, just wait till your emo cover bands get a hold of this song. Yeah. It's going to be so good.
We can't wait till 1975 gets to cover The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived. Here's the thing. I get that people have to move on with their life.
Yeah.
And I understand that they broke up like a year ago. Yeah. Right? So it's been like a year major breakup. But the problem is that he's been so much in the news lately from Tortured Poets. I did not hear a single time in any of that press that he was dating somebody. And so this sort of feels like I need people to stop talking about me as Taylor's ex, and I need to push an engagement, just strategic, which makes me feel like this is nasty. I just want someone to be honest, because I'm juxtaposing that story with the other one that I told you, which was Billy Ray Cyrus files for divorce after 7 months of marriage with Fire Rose, alleging, now most of the time in these cases we just allege irreconcilable differences.
Yeah,
for those of you that don't understand, it used to be that you had to demonstrate fault to get out of a marriage. So you had to have adultery, you had to have abandonment, you had to have like habitual drunkenness or fraud. And now we're a no fault state. You could just say irreconcilable differences. We can't get along. but he files for inappropriate marital conduct. And here's my problem with both what Matt Healy's doing and with what Billy Ray's doing.
Yeah.
Cut the crap. I want you guys to be Matt Healy. I want it to be like Matt Healy needs you to stop talking about Taylor Swift, so he's going to force his engagement on this model. And what was the inappropriate conduct, Billy Ray? Yeah. Just tell us. I want her to, did she hit you? Was there alcohol involved? Did she cheat on you? What's the inappropriate conduct? She can't bake? Like, what is it? I need the deets. And so my advice if you're going to have press, I want press. Yeah. I want headlines. Yeah. I don't want nasty. I want Young Thug, Natalie Reid level of tea.
What's kind of interesting to me is like celebrities have gone so far to the like manufactured end. But it's like you look at the Scandival situation and Ariana is now like the host of Love Island. She has all these brand deals and it's like there is some benefit of bad press. Like not when you're the, center of it, but like all press is press. Yeah. And there is benefits to that.
Also, I just want to highlight that this is what Billy Ray Cyrus looks like today.
This is my sleep paralysis demon.
This is the darkened figure in the closet. You're like, I think is that Billy Ray Cyrus?
Does he have a cowboy hat on?
Wig from there. If you're gonna put something into the news like this, just give me some real. Give me the juice. Yep. I want real juicy tea. Speaking of Scandival, did you see the whole Billy Lee, Kyle Chan, and
I'm like
Sandoval's
still mad
girlfriend?
that Sandoval is going to be on Traitors. If they don't vote him off the first night.
I forgot we reported on that. That sucks.
I think they should kill him the first night.
I think he will. I don't think he'll. If they make him a traitor, I won't be able to watch. No. Because I won't be able to watch and be like, you guys. Yeah. In the little turret and being like oh.
It's gonna ruin.
Wait. Pick who you want for your. Should we pull up Traitors?
Yeah, do it.
And then Traitors 3, and you get to pick Traitors 3.
I bet they'll
pick your 3 people.
I bet they'll pick like Dorinda or something like that.
Okay, so we
because the housewife worked so well for them last time.
We have Bob Harper.
Boston Rob.
No, Bob Harper. He's
Bob
Biggest
Harper.
Loser.
He's not going to be one.
Bob the drag queen would be a good bet because they got rid of Peppermint so early last year, and I know that offended members of the community. So
as it should have.
Yeah, so I think Bob. Okay, Brittany Haynes. There's no way. She's from Big Brother. Carol Wigger.
Survivor.
Yeah, Carolyn Wigger. Maybe. I watched her. She was like so Looney Tunes. She'd be way too. I don't think she's smart enough.
She's good TV.
I forgot Chanel Ayan is in the Traitors, and
the looks we're gonna get from Chanel Ayan in that castle.
I also. Oh my gosh! You just see her nipples in this. Oh. She is. I'm watching her Houses of Dubai right now.
Oh, I haven't started it yet.
Excellent TV.
Fantastic.
She knows how to. She is Lisa Barlow's equivalent to me on Real Housewives of Salt Lake. So thirsty for the show, but also doing way too much solely to make the show a show.
To be interesting.
Chriselle Strauss. I mean,
she's
she knows
annoying.
how to live a double. Oh, Sierra Miller could be an excellent, like a dark horse.
Yeah.
Because I don't think people would suspect her.
No, they wouldn't.
Danielle.
Did you hear that allegedly Lindsay was supposed to be on this season? And allegedly Lindsay is pregnant, and that's why Sierra had to fill in for her. Because for some of the activities that they're doing,
it's like super physically demanding. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's so interesting. Okay.
So apparently Lindsay Hubbard is pregnant.
Dolores, she could be a really good traitor because she's kind of has mob wives energy.
Dolores Catania.
I would rather Dolores than Dorinda.
Oh, 100% Dorinda will be so annoying.
Dylan Efron, I don't think. Gabby Windy, the former Bachelorette, she could be okay. Jeremy Collins from Survivor, no. Lord Ivar Mountbatten, no. I guess Nikki Garcia. Gosh, this is a really star-studded cast. Boston Rob.
I think would be a great villain.
I forgot is going to be in
I feel like Boston Rob would be too...
He's too...
on the nose.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, they could end up... Sorry, let me not skip through. Sam, Britney Spears' husband. No, but I also did read that... Because they're filming right now. I also read that they have... there's a gag order. He can't even say the word Britney Spears.
Can other
I don't know if
people?
that's real. Yeah, no one else is bound, but under the terms of the divorce, I don't think he can do press, and this would count as press. Tom Sandoval, Tony. I actually think Tony from Survivor would be a really good get.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be Boston. Boston Rob is too on the nose. And
People
he has
would
too much
suspect him.
command. I actually think Boston Rob's going to die early if he's not a traitor, because he really knows how to marshal people to do what he wants.
He's a leader.
Tony, and then Wells Adams. Wells Adams would be a good one. Bachelorette, and then he's married to Sarah Hyland.
Yeah.
He would be a good one because he's so kind. No, and they kind of typically throw in like ultra kind, a little bit cutthroat, and then like the dark horse.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pick my 3. You got to pick your 3, and this will be our. I'm gonna write them down here for who we think are. And if you love the traitors, I'll do a prompt as well. Who you think the traitors will be? So I'm gonna say.
I think it will be. Probably Dolores. I don't know a lot of the Survivor contestants. I bet they'll do one Survivor and one challenge.
I don't think there's anybody from the challenge this season.
Oh, there isn't? Mm-mm. Played too good. Dolores. Who else? Maybe Lord Mountbatten.
You think so? Okay, so you're saying who? Who are yours? This is Chase.
I have no idea.
And so then you're saying Lord Mountbatten.
He was such a good
Dolores.
foil last time. I don't know if they would put...
DLOR.
I know that Boston Rob won't be one, but I want him to be.
So do you want me to put him as your third? Okay, Boston Rob. And then I said Sierra, Tony from Survivor, and Bob the Drag Queen.
Yeah.
Okay.
I forgot Bob the Drag Queen.
Nope, you didn't. Sorry, you're out. You can't choose him. And I'm going to call him right now.
I'm going to change out Lord Mountbatten and put in Bob the Drag Queen.
Okay. Bob the Drag Queen.
Also, Bob the Drag Queen is so funny.
So funny. I think
so
he would
him
be
as a villain and getting his like takes.
I agree. And a lot more dialogue. He'd be an excellent choice.
Do you think he'll be a drag queen most of
I
the
think
time?
he'll be both.
Like
I think he'll do.
He's
I
very
think during the
androgynous,
day
so I think
he'll
that-
be Bob, and then I
At the
think
table,
Bob the
he
Drag
might be the
Queen.
drag
He could
queen.
come out with multiple looks or whatever. It's just doing the
He's
hair
not really
and makeup.
like a looks queen, so
No, but I mean doing the drag.
Yeah.
Because hair and makeup is hours and hours and hours for that, and I just don't know how much time they actually have to do that. Peppermint was. I mean, she's trans, so she was in. She wasn't like in drag. She was just herself. I mean, everybody in theory is drag if you listen to RuPaul. Okay, Practical Magic 2 is in the works with Sandra Bullock, Nicole Kidman, in talks to return. You don't know how much this makes my heart so happy.
I got the story for you.
But some people are also reporting that it's not
is a farce.
actually that it's a farce, that it's just launching that Practical Magic was available on the streaming service.
But if it was...
I love it so much. I can't wait till you watch it in October. It's
I'm
such
thrilled.
a...
I don't want to watch it before then, though.
No, but I actually want you
It's
to
like
watch
October
it.
1.
Yeah,
I'm
and I
gonna
also
turn
want
it
you to
on.
watch it with me.
Okay.
In our basement, spooky vibes, lights off, candles everywhere. Like we'll do the whole vibe, so you get the whole witch theme
done.
because we love that'll be like a great introduction to fall. These are the kind of movies that I would like to see sequels to.
Yeah.
Like the kind of classic culty vibes. I want to just see what they do. I know it's not going to be as good. I know it's not going to be blah blah blah.
But like, how hard is it to mess up like a witchy vibe movie?
Well, look at Hocus Pocus 2.
Didn't see it.
Yeah, Hocus Pocus 2 was...
Yeah, but Practical Magic, my
cringe.
understanding of it is that there's like an aesthetic to it.
There's an aesthetic, there's a vibe. To me, the best... Here's my advice. If you're going to be doing it, don't try to be like, oh, what would these characters be like in the 2024?
Yeah.
But like that's what they made a mistake on Hocus Pocus 2.
Yeah.
Is it basically transplanted the same characters
It's like-
into like Encino Man, where he comes, 30 years later, or Austin Powers after he's, not been frozen anymore.
Got it.
I think that's where they made the mistake. Let it be an actual continuation, an actual sequence.
Yeah.
Kind of like My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2.
I don't want to feel like they're adjusting to technology.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want it to be like old characters transplanted into modern day. I want it to be like an actual
And like when she's writing on a vacuum, I don't want her to be like, oh, what is this? It's cordless.
It literally, I'm sure you saw those clips because
I literally didn't.
That's some of like the jokes.
I've
It's like
seen
a
nothing.
Swiffer. what is this? Oh, it really cleans up the mess. Like, it was heavy-handed.
Oh gosh. Okay.
So I want that to be, so please just do a true, kind of like in My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Yeah.
I think they did a good job. Okay, last story. Rob Lowe is delusional because he wants Zac Efron to play him in a biopic. And he says that it's perfect casting. Here's my advice.
Perfect.
To most people who are casting their biopics.
Yeah.
Or talking about casting their biopics.
You do it poorly.
Do it poorly on purpose.
Yeah.
Don't do it poorly.
Like RuPaul, who says whenever he was asked who should play him in a biopic, he said Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen.
That's
so
what I want
funny.
to end on. Who would be your person to play you in a biopic?
Emma Stone.
Because mine's Viola Davis. Like, low key.
You just want great dramatic
I
acting.
want amazing acting.
Well,
And-
Emma Stone, I'm going to get that with like the obnoxious hilarity.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
If I'm going to be crazy, I'm going to be like Gal Gadot, obviously because of the similarities.
Yeah.
That we
For
have.
me, I'm probably more of like a Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting vibes, or maybe like Austin Butler if he could just make his voice a little higher.
Yeah, if he could change his vocal
And
range
if he could
back.
I need to hear them laugh because that's one of my signatures.
Honestly, like Maya Rudolph.
You're like, honestly, Beyonce Knowles.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you heard of her.
Yeah.
But I think she's free. She's not touring. Mm-hmm. Is she going to tour Cowboy Carter, do you think?
I don't think she will.
Interesting.
I think she'll wait till Act 3 of the Renaissance, and then she'll tour those two together.
Interesting. Okay.
Maybe with like one of.
If I had to pick a guy, I would be equally delusional and pick Zac Efron. And be like, yeah, we're about the same. Although I understand he's short. I also have a massage friend who has massaged Zac Efron.
Okay.
Naked. Nice.
Nice. Okay.
By all reports. So he could play me. Delusional.
So based on that feedback,
That's what the episode should be called. Yeah, Zac Efron could play me. It should be called Zac Efron and Gal Gadot. That's how we should start next episode. Hey guys, welcome to Good Bad Advice Podcast. I'm your host. I'm Chase. I'm Zac Efron. We're your hosts. I'm Zac Efron and I'm Gal Gadot. Sorry, we get that all the time. Chase. Ooh.
It's like one time somebody told me I looked like Margot Robbie, and I said, "You're lying," but thank you so much. That's like the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me.
So funny. All right, babes. Anything else? You have to go to work. Sorry, you're running late.
I don't even work there.
It's true. Pura, if you're listening, hire her full time.
We're working on it.
Please.
I love you guys so much. You could do nothing wrong in my eyes.
I will defend. She's so worth it. She's gotten me to buy Pura.
That's true.
I returned my Bath and Body Works wall scents.
As you should, because they're not clean ingredients.
Well, so I read something that said some of them are.
Okay, some of them. Do you want to sort through some of them?
No, because I don't like floral.
You're going to know that all of your Pura scents are clean and pure technology.
And I'm supporting my girly, my Gal Gadot, my Margot Robbie.
All right.
All right, you guys. We will see you guys next week for our last episode before, and we're going to have a little surprise for you.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Bye.